right button. Welcome, everybody, to the Chronicles Podcast. I'm Bobby. I am here with Evan, Rob, and Donald. And do we still have faith in Torres at shortstop?
Yes. You guys can go on.
That's a routine play. I thought that was the one play he should have made that play. I don't care how much they were hustling down the line. That's so routine. That play bothered me.
Me too.
I mean, how long are you willing to give a player an opportunity to get back into his old position? I mean, he's literally had 66 games to do it, and everyone's freaking out. He's been working on it. It's not like he's sitting there not working on it. And I think his feet and ability to play the position far outweigh what Andujar could do at third. And yet we gave Andujar a full season and then bashed him after wanting him to win Rookie of the Year. It's like this fan base is just fucking ridiculous. We're never going to be happy.
And
He cost us the game. It was a terrible throw. It was a ridiculous throw.
Actually, you know what? After I thought about it a little, because that was that one play, I was like, that's it. I said, this game, they're not gonna win this game. That was the play that made me feel that way. But when you sit back and you think about it, they lost that game before the ninth inning even came into play. And they had how many runners in scoring position? They can't get that hit. And it's the same thing over and over again. They get the runners on base, and then the bats go flat. That's what's losing. That's why they lost yesterday's game. It had nothing to do with Torres' defense. The game should have been won before that was even a factor.
That's such a stupid way of looking at it, because everything that happens in the fucking game has to do with the fucking game. So yes, his terrible throw had everything to do with it. You can't just say, oh, because they're not hitting and score. They did a lot of things really poorly, and that's why we lost.
They didn't look like a professional hitting team. They can't hit. It's the same thing over and over again.
Fundamentals in this team is fundamentally flawed. I mean, you go through it. Torres' defense, he can't throw routine plays. That is a play that everyone has to make. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. That's that. Then, of course, we've left 23 men on base throughout the entire game, which is ridiculous. 13 hits, you only scored 3 runs? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, it's pathetic. And Didi Gregorius would have made that throw with his eyes fucking closed.
Of course. And then there's little things that, although Sanchez hit the ball well, he ran the bases poorly twice, which put us behind the 8 ball. Remember that? Actually, Talkman bailed his ass out because he ran the whole way from first, which was awesome. But I don't know what Sanchez was doing. He just kind of lollygagged around when he should be hustling.
I think the way that
an out, but you can't take the chance. There's 2 outs. You got to bust it. So that was disgraceful, and it happened earlier as well.
Gary's mistake was there were a few factors. The angle he's running, looking at the left fielder, it did because it hit off Mountcastle's glove. Sanchez probably thought it was caught. But I'm sorry. Until you get that signal from the umpire, you have to run.
Of course. David Cohn said so.
That was Gary's mistake. You got to play it. You got to run the play out. Until they tell you the ball is dead, that ball is alive.
Cohn twice in the game says
he's also not a very good base runner too. So the start and stop time for him is a factor in him going, because once he gets going, he's not going to be able to control.
He did have that double where he hustled his ass to second base. I'm like, all right,
that's a little different.
Way to go, Gary! Finally. And then the next time he hits it into then we get to see the same old Gary all over again.
No, but I mean, we've already seen him hustle more than fucking Cano does.
Yeah.
We saw him 2 games ago hustle to that play where he beat it out, and you were like, wow, he looked really fast there.
Yeah.
Fucking Cano doesn't do that shit. Cano would have walked the whole way there.
Oh, that's not wrong, to be fair.
The only good takeaway so far these first 2 series of the year is how fucking dominant our pitching has been.
Yeah.
our pitching staff, they came this season to play.
You know what the issue is? The issue is the team's mindset. We're just a fragile, weak team that's overly sensitive and needs to be coddled all the fucking time. It's like, seriously, Aaron Boone literally said, "Oh, the wear and tear after 5 games." Are you fucking kidding me? Girardi never would have done that. Joe Torre never would have done that. Buck Showalter never did that. Like, come on. It's pathetic. It comes from the top bottom, and we just seem so we have talent, so we're just going to go out there and do it. Like, there's no aggressive factor to this team whatsoever. They are so passive and fine with whatever the results are at the end of the game. It's like, you guys really are this passive? It's hard as fuck to watch.
Yeah, let's talk about Judge. I mean,
I'm done with him. Dude. You're sore after 5 games? Then you shouldn't be a professional athlete. I'm sorry. You're a 6'7" giant.
You're sore in spring training. This is actually the Yankees' best information, which pisses me off. This has been going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's both, and it's been going on for the past since he was a rookie. So it's like, if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. And you've had multiple times to trade an asset who can get you multiple people who can stay healthy. And I know people think that Whit Merrifield is old, but Whit has played in 315 consecutive games. We fucking need that. He's also leading the American League in home runs right now and RBIs. So everyone can go fuck themselves with the age thing. He's better than Judges right now. And he actually will stay on the field for multiple seasons.
If he comes to the Yankees, he'll be lucky if he sees 5 consecutive games because they have to give off days.
We got to arrest him. He's going to be tired because he's played so many games in a row.
Yeah, it's stupid mentality.
Can I quote a tweet here? This is actually from John Boy. This is actually quite a good one. This is from yesterday night I was mentioned earlier. So he's got what the Yankees information has been about Aaron Judge. So March 29th, he's under the weather a little bit. April 5th, just getting him off his feet a little bit. April 6th, there's nothing specific that Aaron Judge is dealing with. April 7th, he's dealing with general soreness in his side on his wear and tear after 5 games. And now it's too early to say if Judge will be playing on Friday in Tampa. So, I mean, all we have to say, and he finishes his tweet with, "Come on." And he's right. Come on. What is this misinformation? All through spring training, it was like, he's got a little bit of a cold. He's okay. I think this has been going on since spring training. I don't think I think he's had this soreness since before these 5 games.
Rob, I want to hear your opinion on this. You've been quiet the whole episode. Talk.
If he's hurt, he's hurt. What the hell can we do about it? Like, it's better that they keep him out than. What are you rolling your eyes for? What do you want me to do? Fucking go over there and give him a shot, make him feel better? Like, there's nothing that we can do as fans. If they're going to sit him out for a week, let him sit. It's better that this gets out of the way. You've said this plenty of times. It's better this gets out of the way now. So if he's here in fucking October, good. Who knows?
He's not going to be, though. That's the problem. He's
got a crystal ball?
Injured again.
You got a crystal ball?
We've seen him do this over how many seasons in a row now, Rob? Now it's getting to a point where we need to be concerned with how many red flags we see every year.
So you want to trade? Who's going to trade for an injury-prone player? Who's going to trade for him? And what are we going to? We're going to get Whit Merrifield for him?
The league, a lot of people would.
So if he's the face of the league, like you say, but he's got injury problems, who's going to give up valuable assets for that?
It depends what organization thinks they can handle those issues. Because guess what? The Yankees don't handle injuries very well. There's several other teams who I can think of that do a better job. Kansas City's one of them.
The other problem is with Judge.
No, seriously. Let me just. Sorry to cut you off, but let me just ask. You don't think that it's not a coincidence that Kansas City has players who stay healthy far longer than we do and have done it for multiple seasons now? And I'm not just talking about Whit Merrifield. Go look it up. Their players stay on the fucking field. Ours don't. Why? Tell me why. We don't know why. That's the issue.
I want someone to explain what the fuck wear and tear after 5 games means. What the fuck does that mean? Wear and tear after 5 games? Are you fucking kidding me?
It means we're weak. It means we are weak both physically and mentally.
I think it's a problem from the organization down. This is from the top down. How can you excuse wear and tear after 5 games? You can't say that. the fucking manager. It's ridiculous.
You
know what great times?
We've been hearing the same thing with these players for 2-3 years now. There's no explanation for it. There's no right way to break it down. There's no wrong way to break it down. I think a lot of it has to do with what Evan said. It's a mental weakness.
Well, it has to be from the top to the bottom, because for almost 20 plus years, I had never seen this level of incompetence with injuries from this organization. Okay, it did not happen until Girardi left, basically. Right around the time he was getting ready to leave is when this fucking fragile mental bullshit came in, and now we're injured all the fucking time because all we have is these guys who have to fucking put on 50 pounds of muscle every offseason and swing for the fences, and now they do an offseason where they learn how to condition themselves, and still he's getting fucking sore. So I'm fed up. We've tried both things, and they're not working. They do not work. We have no answers.
The incompetence astounds me.
You all right down there, Rob?
I'm good. I'm thinking about Torres and how and I've said it so many times. Everyone asked for this. You get what you fucking deserve. You asked for this. You saw 2019. Oh, you could play shortstop. Get rid of Didi. Now you want him back, right? No. Now we want to move DJ away from the best position that he is at second base to play first, and trade Luke Voigt so we can get a real shortstop. Let's go get Trevor Story. And what happens if he gets hurt? What happens if whoever we bring in gets hurt? We're going to give up on Gleyber Torres. There's 160 and 156 fucking games left. Give him time. There is a great line in The Sandlot where Benny says, you got to stop thinking. Watch Gleyber Torres play. He is thinking too much when he's making these plays. That's my opinion. It looks like such a simple fix. Just go out there and make the play. And I'm sure he's a big social media presence. I'm sure he's seeing this shit. Now, I'm not saying, pat him on the back every 2 seconds.
No, you're right. It's the same thing that happened to Sanchez with the mental impact. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Just let him. I'm not saying we can't be critical. I'm never going to say that. We as fans, we can say whatever the hell we want. Sometimes we say a little too much. And I'm not, it's not like we got to fucking cradle these guys like they're babies. They're making more money than I'll ever see in my lifetime. So if they're going to make a bad play, I'm going to criticize it. That wasn't a good throw by Torres. I'm not going to excuse it. Jay Bruce should have made that catch, but at the same time, it was not a good throw. Don't shake your head. He should have made the catch, but I'm not saying it wasn't a good throw, but he should have been able to make the scoop. It was a two-way bad play. Bad throw, bad play at first.
You know who would have made that
catch?
catch?
He's not even a normal first baseman, so you got to understand that he's not, known to making
One
scoops.
player that could have made both, with those balls in the dirt, Teixeira. I think we really
the Gold Glove first baseman. Jay Bruce is a fat outfielder who plays DH.
So we're going to say that Jay Bruce, who hasn't had a lot of playing time at first, he gets a pass, but Gleyber Torres, who hasn't had a lot of time at playing short, doesn't.
Well, Torres has had over a full year. Jay Bruce doesn't even have that amount of time.
He's had 66 games, Donald.
Well, it's a full MLB season last year.
And Jay Bruce has played plenty of first base to where you can make a scoop. It's a two-way bad play. That's what I said. We're going to give Bruce a pass, but we're not going to give. Torres is only to blame there.
And you know what's funny, Rob? If they put in Duhar at first and Duhar didn't make it either, they'd give him more shit than they're giving Bruce as well.
And they would say Jay Bruce should be out there.
Yep.
Because he can play first base. Would Mike Ford have made that play? Mike Ford's played plenty of first base in the minors. He probably would have dropped that too. So it's a two-way bad play. I mean, how long
it takes Mike Ford to bend down to put his socks on in the morning? He's not fucking stupid shit.
There's some plays you question. Should there have been two Arizona play?
It took a hop right to the glove. I'm not saying it was a good throw. Did I say it was a good throw? I said it's a two-way bad play. Torres has to make that throw, but at the same time, you got to make that catch if you're Bruce. You got to make that play. Both players have to be better there. 100%. I'm not saying, okay, that's what I'm trying to, I'm not saying that one player
Torres got the
blame
error
more.
because he made the first mistake.
Right, and then Bruce made the second mistake. It was a terrible play overall. We got to be better defensively. That's what we've been saying for a long time.
We sat here all spring with, supporting the fact of Torres playing shortstop. And I still believe he could play the position. But being a real fan, you also have to criticize when the player doesn't get it done. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, that's exactly
I think that's what we're all doing. The same way we're critical of the manager, we're critical of the players, we're critical of the ownership.
We don't have a manager. Let's be real. We do not have a manager. We have a piece of shit puppet who sits there and says dumb shit. He's literally, sorry, but Aaron Boone is no different to me than man shits. He ruins baseball. He's a piece of crap. He should go back to ESPN with his stupid-ass, charismatic personality, sit his ass behind a fucking desk and talk to us about that shit because he's so entertaining. Oh, my God, he can do all the batting stances because it's really fucking hard to do something when you fucking stare at it for your whole fucking life and then mimic it. That's really hard to do. Fuck Aaron Boone.
Boone isn't a good manager. Having said that, he had nothing to do with yesterday's loss. Like, there's nothing he could have done differently. It's on Torres.
No, I think he does in general because it lasted the past couple years, dude. The mindset in the locker room is based on, what they're making Boone do as manager.
It's the whole organization, man. I mean, Boone cost us October. He was fucking terrible in October. So, but I can't fault anything he did yesterday. Torres makes that throw, and then Higashioka gets the win. The next inning with the single. So it all kind of correlates, man. The way we are. But having said that, you are right about something because there's something about the organization where these guys can't seem to do the fundamentals. They can't seem to do the simple shit, the simple thing. And that's why when I get really worried when we play close games, because every close game that we've played so far this year, we fucking lose because we can't seem to get the big hit or we can't seem to do the right play defensively or make the right run.
Who did have a very good day at the plate? And it was the guy that nobody wanted to bring back, and that was Gardner. Gardner actually did have a good game at the plate.
Because he's a good player.
Yeah.
He's actually one of those. He's one of the only guys that actually does the fundamentals spot on. Maybe we should fucking play him more. Nobody else can seem to fucking do it.
Greg Gardner is literally above average in every category. Yeah. That's what makes him a good baseman. He's not going to hit you, 30 home runs. He's not going to bat 300, but he's going to do everything right on the slightly above average line, which is fantastic. And he has speed still.
Gardner can read the flow. Gardner can work with the flow of the game. That's what a good ball player does. He came up, he had the runner on second, bunted him over. I don't know, and I don't know why they said Gio. That ball was not deep enough to run on with 1 out. 2 outs, yeah, you give it a shot, not one. That was a mistake too.
We were saying this how bad the staff is in general. I don't like Boone. I don't think he was to blame at all for the loss yesterday, but I don't like him overall as a manager. I don't like our hitting coach. I don't like the pitching coach, even though the pitching. I don't even like
Phil Nevin.
I don't like any of these guys right now. They're not. The team is struggling.
First of all, Marcus Thames. Marcus Thames is not a good
awful.
I don't know what he fucking does.
I think that.
Go ahead, Rob.
Okay. How many times have we seen the team struggle out of the gate? Let's say we had a brilliant April, right? And the season ended poorly. Let's say we lost in the first round, ALCS, whatever. We'd be calling ourselves the Mets. We say the Mets do that all the time, right? They start off hot and they fizzle. So I'm not saying I'm okay with losing. I'm not okay with losing under any circumstances, but I'm not going to give up on anybody. I'm not going to keep my head down and say, fuck this team. A lot needs to change after 6 games. I think there's a lot they need to work on. And we've said this plenty of times. This first month is kind of like that extended spring. We need to still work on things. Spring was too long. We can agree with that. I say give it a little bit of time. This is too good of a team.
The thing is, it's not that they lost the game, it's how they lost the game. We know that they're not going to go undefeated. That's the frustrating part.
That is the red flags behind every issue that we have. these issues have fluctuated over the past 3 seasons. So when we see them, it's, oh God, it's going to happen again. I'm so happy that it's happening in April. I agree with that. But the fact is, these are issues that are likely going to come up multiple times this season. And if it doesn't hurt us now, it's probably going to hurt us later on in the season.
You have a weak team like the Orioles on the ropes like they did yesterday countless times.
The Orioles are not a weak team. They're not a weak team. In this division right now, I'd say Boston's a weak team. I'd say Tampa Bay is a weak team. Toronto and Baltimore are not weak teams, and
if you're expected to lose 100 games, that's a weak team.
Who's expecting them to lose 100 games? You? Who said that? No one said that from us. Baltimore's not expected to lose 100 games.
Are you confusing Baltimore with somebody else?
Yeah, what do you... Me?
Yeah, you, because they're a rebuilding team.
They're a rebuilding team, but they're not terrible. Fucking Boston's a rebuilding team at rock bottom who just started it. Baltimore's been rebuilding for a couple of years, and they have decent players on this team who are now coming into their own.
I think the over-under for them going into the year for wins was 63.
What?
I think the over-under for them in the season was like 63 or 65 wins.
Whoever wrote that's an idiot. I'm sorry. They're gonna lose far less than 100 games.
Can I just say that I would be hypocritical for me to be raging after 6 games because I've been saying in prior episodes not to freak out. But the thing that pisses me off is that this has been going on for a while with the organization. I don't like the misinformation with injuries. This has been going on much longer than 6 games. I don't like the way that we approach at-bats in big spots. I've had this issue for about 2 years, and I think that we are a fundamentally flawed team defensively, and that hasn't changed. That is why I'm frustrated, because the exact issues that we had last year and the year before has not actually been addressed, and that's why I'm pissed off. It's nothing to do with the law. We're gonna lose games. It's, no one goes 162-0, but it's the way that we lose that has been going on for a while. It's a trend that's been happening, and I just don't like beating your head against the wall because I don't think this is being addressed.
Right. I think that's a very, very fair assessment. I can't blame a player. Do I like that Judge is getting hurt all the time? No. Do I got to blame the guy because he's getting hurt? No. I think it's an organization thing. Misinformation about these injuries has been happening, not just with Judge, with every single injury we have. It's happening too much. I would love that Judge played every single day. I know that's not realistic because he's a big dude. He's going to need to take time off. And if he has to miss 2 weeks in the month of April, I don't care. If he's 100%, let's say hypothetically, because we can never be sure with this team. But let's say hypothetically he misses 2 weeks in April, comes back, plays the rest of the year. Are we really going to care? Are we going to care that he got hurt in April? If they were upfront about it, they were upfront about the injury, then I think we would be. We
would still be pissed the same way that he's hurt already, but at least we won't be feeling like we're being bullshit by the organization of why these players are in and out of the lineups the way they are.
Right, because most of us are grown as adults. We know, we can see it. The eye test is real. Like when I said about Torres, you can see that he's kind of overthinking when he's out there defensively. It was the same thing with Andujar. He rushes just a little bit too much when he's throwing. And the same thing with Torres. It's like, I need to make this play. I need to make this play. And he made a bad throw. I think that's definitely a part of it. It's the same. We can see things. So you can see that Judge isn't running 100% like he usually can when he's fully healthy. You can tell that there was something bugging him. And why is the organization lying us like we're a bunch of children? It's like when you tell your kids, like, oh, the goldfish ran away, when the reality of it is it's dead and you flush it down the toilet. We're not children. We know when something is up. So just why is a professional organization constantly lying to its fans when there's something wrong? I can agree with everything that you said about the organization there, Donald. That I can agree with.
That's it, because I don't blame Aaron Judge for being injured. I can't blame him for being injured. He's hurt. It's the way that the Yankees approach these issues and the way that they speak to us, like we're fucking idiots.
Yeah, they're not fooling us.
No, we've been around for too long. We can see if someone's hurt or not, and just tell us, what are we gonna do? Go to Yankee Stadium and start throwing bottles at the fucking
Well,
the field?
it's almost as if they don't want to admit mental mistakes, like these guys are humans. Because look at what happened to Chuck Knobloch. This was a guy who was a decent second baseman for how many years before the throwing issue came into fruition? Like at least 8. So it's one of those things where you would rather, as an organization, have these problems be addressed when you're a younger person who has the time to fix it. Once Chuck Knobloch lost it, you weren't going to fix that because mentally something was gone and he wasn't going to be able to do it. Torres, he has plenty of potential and plenty of time to fix these mental mistakes that he's making.
Exactly. That's very, very true. There is plenty of time to fix it. Unfortunately, it has to happen in real time because you're not going to send him down. You're not going to lose him in your lineup. You're not going to lose him on the roster. You have to work with him every single day. Get there early. And I'm sure he's putting in the work. It's not like he's showing up, fuck it, I'm going to go play a video game. Who cares?
I don't think we've ever said that about anybody.
Right. There are a lot of people that believe
I
that's
used to say it about Clint Frazier because he was. The dude used to talk about his Twitch account every fucking minute.
You know what worries me, though? Torres needs a lot of work, okay? He does need a lot of work, but I don't know who our coaches are that could actually put in that kind of quality of work to actually improve him. And, when Joe Girardi was manager, his coaching staff was elite.
Elite.
He was a phenomenal ex-catcher, and he was also a terrific coach. And he worked with the guys, and it was obviously different back then, but now all of it is kind of computer-based, stats-based. A lot of that, and a lot of the great coaching actually happens in the minors, not on the big league roster. So that's a little concern of mine that I don't know who's working with Torres, because he needs to have a proper coach that can work with him on the fundamentals, because he has a responsibility here. The Yankees have put it all on him because DJ LeMahieu's been signed for 6 years to play second. So Torres has not got an easy out to move to second base. This is it. He needs to step up.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I was even though I wasn't a huge Girardi fan, I was perfectly fine with giving him another year after what he accomplished in 2017 with the team that was supposed to be rebuilding or retooling. In 2017, Yankees were not expected to go anywhere. And
Right.
Girardi was very good that year in a lot of aspects of the game. He wasn't perfect, but I thought him and that coaching staff needed at least another year with what we're being told as the baby bombers. They needed another year with that group to see what they could accomplish. Instead, they threw it all away for a guy with zero coaching experience, and I did not agree with it.
Well, Rob, question. How many times do we sit here as football fans and go, oh, the quarterback doesn't have a shot because he's had a new coach every year, every 2 years, it's the same thing in every sports. Torres' first coach was Joe Girardi. He was building a relationship with Joe Girardi, and then they go, oh, we don't like it because he's too this or he's too that. So now we're going to get
No. Actually, no. Torres was brought up in 2018.
On how we're going to run things. They went too drastic. They went way too drastic, way too quick, and now he doesn't have someone to develop him.
The big thing with that was Sanchez, because Torres was brought up with Boone. Torres' first year was with Boone.
Right. I know, but it's a confusing mindset to keep coming in. You're expecting your coach to be, Joe Girardi and how that team was run, and then you get something completely different with Boone.
Right. It seemed like the whole atmosphere around the team changed when Boone got there. Like they were I'm not saying that they don't care out there, but you can definitely see there's more of a relaxed feel, which could be bad.
It's like they're scared to tell the full truth to us because the players can't handle what the injury might be. And it's like you're over coddling them. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Aaron Boone is the type of manager for a plug and play team that can manage themselves in the locker room. That all are terrific at every facet of the game. They can just go play. And Aaron Boone can just go and be their pal and it'll be fine. But this team isn't actually a plug-and-play team because they've actually got some flaws that need a manager that can work with them on these aspects in order for them to play at the level that they should be playing at. I think a couple of years ago we had a plug and play team, but now we've got some issues. Got Torres and needs some work defensively. Sanchez needs to stay positive and keep working on the things that he's good at. You need a manager like Joe Girardi actually for this kind of team, because this isn't a plug and play team right now.
Right.
Yeah, letting go of Joe is a mistake.
It is. You need to go on a lot more out of the team.
To change the manager just because he's he had 10 years. There's no lifeline on coaching. If the team is remaining to be is showing to be a sustainable franchise, keep the leaderships you have. Changing him just to shake the change is stupid.
Though. He's never been liked in this league, Girardi. Okay, no. He wins Manager of the Year, gets fired, comes to us, wins us the World Series here for 10 years, and then they don't like him because he has a weird relationship with a guy who's mentally fragile.
I thought 2017 was his best year.
Manager.
Yeah,
it's by far, Rob.
Bob's right. 2017 was his best year.
It was better than 09. 09, if you would have lost with that roster, then you should have been fired. But 2017, to take that team to within one game of the World Series against 100%. A team that cheated, yeah, that was his best year. And they let him go.
He almost won against guys that had to cheat against rookies to win.
Yeah.
Yep.
Think about that for a minute.
Yeah. Excellent.
What concerns me about that, though, Cashman and Steinbrenner basically both confirmed that the decision was already made prior to the playoffs regarding Girardi's future.
Unacceptable.
That was bullshit. That was a cop-out.
But also,
I don't buy that for a second.
Well, obviously that was the case because the guy took us as far as he could possibly take us.
I do believe it, actually. I believe it because of how disrespected Joe is. I absolutely believe it. He's not a personality that people enjoy working with. He's like me. I'm smart as fuck and will get the job done, but it's going to be a pain in the ass because I'm not going to be nice half the time. That's Joe Girardi.
Rob, do we have any trivia today?
We do have two, actually, because here's a spoiler alert for you, Evan. I won't be here tomorrow. You can thank the job. Yeah. I'm a slacker. I get it. I know. I'm a slacker. I have to work tomorrow.
Happy birthday to Kat, by the way. Enjoy your birthday. You're probably out doing errands right now.
The hell is he talking to? What? Anyway, these are the
You muted yourself. What is this?
Sorry. There was a phone call.
Cats with the record button. What is this?
All right. The last two questions of the week. So right now we have Tats with a point, Evan with a point. Donald, do you have a chance to win though?
Who gives a shit? Trivia's stupid.
What? On today in history, on April 8th, 2014, this Yankee became the first player to record 6 doubles in the first 7 games of his career. Bobby, you get first crack at it.
2014?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Didi? No.
Evan, go ahead.
God, that was such a weird year. I'm trying to fucking remember the roster. Donald can answer. I don't even have a player.
Donald?
I was gonna say Gary, but I think it was before that. I think he was later than 2014, wasn't he?
Yeah, Gary came in 16.
Yeah,
was it Greg Bird?
No. Bobby, you want to take one more crack at it?
Was it Castro that year? Was he with us yet?
We got Castro like 2 years later, or the next year.
2014. Jesus.
When did we get Castro?
I just remember the roster that we had in 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you go through the roster?
He was I can't give you this hint because you're gonna know it then. He's a switch hitter. He played the infield. Don't be afraid to just shout it out when you know it.
I already gave my 2 guesses. I don't want to break Evan's rules.
Well, I'm having a really hard time remembering who's on the 2014 roster and who was a switch hitting infield.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that didn't help me at all.
It really. I have an idea, but I'm trying to remember if he was still there in 14. I'm trying not to Google cheat.
Not Eduardo Nunez, right?
Mm-mm.
I think Donald. I think you got one more guess.
I'm humming his home run call right now.
Just stop. Don't fucking hint.
Keep singing.
You gave us enough with the infield switch hitter. If we can't get it, we don't know the roster.
And it was his first game it was his first year of his career, right?
First 7 games of his career.
Was he a new player? He's asking.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Ah, shit.
I mean, now you know it, don't you?
No, I'm out. I don't know.
It's Jan Herbis Solarte.
I fucking knew it. God fucking damn it. I was thinking Chase Headley the whole time. I'm like, it's related to Chase. What's his fucking name?
That was going to be the hint. I was going to say, he was traded that year. That would have easily.
Ah, God damn it, man.
But I was humming Solarte.
I almost said Chase Headley, and then I was like, that doesn't make sense.
All right. And now, well, this one is going to determine the potential winner or tie. Second question of the day. On December 7th, 1995, the Yankees acquired Tino Martinez from the Seattle Mariners. But what other key dynasty player was acquired in that trade? Donald.
It's a relief pitcher, right?
Jeff Nelson.
Yes, Donald.
God fucking damn it. I was about to fucking get that piece of
Donald
shit.
gets it, which means we have a 3-way tie this week in trivia. Everybody is going to get a win. We're actually going to get a tie in the standings. So Donald still technically has the lead with the 1-0-1 record. But Tats and Evan do not get the loss this week. So
hey, I got one right. I'm good.
Well, I had Jeff Nelson. If I had gone first, I probably would have fucking nailed that shit.
Once the reliever position was thrown out, it was like the light bulbs went off on all of us.
Reliever, man. And then Rob gave me the head nod, and fucking Donald answered it. So fuck you, Donald. You suck. Do your award, you dick.
Okay.
All right, it's awards time.
Okay, so the MVP goes to the bullpen. Lockdown, man. The bullpen was just terrific. So from the fourth, Tyone pitched 4 2/3, and then from that point on, we just racked up the strikeouts and gave up no runs at all.
You even talk about Tyone today.
Tyone was good.
Yeah, he had 7 strikeouts in 4
innings. Yeah. We'll get through.
Yeah. Okay.
List here, and then we'll close out with Tyone.
Yeah, we got it. That's on him. The Clutch Awards. It's a 2-way one. Higashioka with a 2-out single. Extras. That was awesome. I thought that was going to turn the game around. I thought we were going to win the game after he did that. That was clutch, man. We don't have that many opportunities to have a clutch hit, and he certainly was clutch there.
wearing my Yankee outfit in Pittsburgh.
Of course not. No one likes the Yankees.
But yeah, that off day yesterday was, the worst off day, especially after that loss, because now you have a bunch of overreactions. Everybody's an expert now of how to fix the team. Every game matters. We said this, and every loss is different. That loss, that extra inning loss, just was like a gut punch. Just the whole atmosphere, the way the game was played, it was very sloppy, except for the pitching. And I'm just glad that we're able, let's just get back into it today. We got Tampa coming up. We want to try to, we have to win 2 out of 3 at least, because we want to at least, get as much distance from these teams as we can. And so, and it's all about just winning series, not just winning all the games.
Tampa Bay does not look good this year.
No.
And I know it's early, but I'm seeing poor fundamentals from a team that invented fundamentals. So it's concerning. They have no pitching. We're facing a 41-year-old Rich Hill this year because they had to sign him because they lost 3 of their starters, including one guy that they traded. So it's like basically got glass now and a bunch of arms, which sometimes works, but I think this year they're going to be outmanaged a little bit and outmatched by the rest of the league, especially in a division that is very top heavy. The Yankees, the Blue Jays, and even Baltimore for me is decent enough to beat Tampa Bay. I mean, we've seen Baltimore beat the Red Sox. They got shellacked last night, but I still think that they're better than the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox are going to have a rough time this year.
When we were making the, in the off season, when we were throwing out prediction of what the division was going to look like, we thought it was going to be another year or 2 before Baltimore started to click. Maybe they're clicking a little earlier than we anticipated.
Sometimes that happens in baseball. You hit these hot streaks and you just go with it. It's going to be a long season, so we're going to see games where they're dreadful and it looks like they should, how we predict they would look. But again, I don't think they're going to lose 100 games. They might lose 90 games, but I think 100 is too high for a team that has a lot of talent on it. I think we're going to see big years from guys like Mountcastle, Santander.
Mountcastle, let me tell you, Mountcastle is a player.
He's an interesting player, dude. Yeah. And if we see that catcher whose last name has every letter in the alphabet, if we ever see him, he looks scary too.
What might have been teams getting in a hot streak because look at the Marlins last year. Over a 60-game period, any team can go on a reasonable hot streak, and
any team can have a good month.
The playoffs last year, but this year they were starting 1-6. Although they got hosed last night by the Mets, we can get into that later. But Baltimore, over a 60-game period, Baltimore could win over 162. I think. I don't think they're going to have enough to make any kind of noise in the league. But in a short sample like we had in the 3-game series, they can't catch us out, which they did because they have a couple of decent arms.
Is this why baseball stands out as a better sport as far as development? Because you do have where you don't see a lot of these players like you do with college sports, with basketball and football. You don't see, it's not like they air minor league games on TV. Do we underestimate the development of some of these other teams? So when they come up and they're able to perform, it's almost like it puts us into a state of shock.
Well, of course the development is better in baseball. It lasts over a couple of years to develop a player. You think you could develop someone in 5 minutes or 5 hours? Yeah. You're teaching them new skills. So, other leagues just don't need it. If you're nasty at basketball, you're going to make it, and they know you're going to make it. If you're a second-round pick, they need to develop you. But in baseball, they literally have 70 rounds. That shows how many more people are playing baseball. It shows how many more leagues there are. It's a bigger sport. Football doesn't need it either because you have the practice squad. And if you make the practice squad, you don't do anything. You just practice.
There's so many levels. There's single A, double A, triple A.
Independent leagues,
And when
international leagues.
yeah, and one more thought on this, and I want to get into some more Yankee specific stuff. Is these players that are coming up now, using Baltimore as an example, since we just saw them, they've already been playing together for 5 years now. They have that camaraderie. They have that bond. That is huge when it comes to professional sports.
Of course, and that's why Higashioka's been so decent for us, because he's known these guys for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
He's been the minor league catcher.
Yeah, that's true.
Same with Kratz. I mean, Kratz came into our organization a bunch of times, but he's an older guy. That's what he did. He was in the minors for most of the time and would come up and get spot starts as catcher. By the way, we've brought it up many times, but he needs to be a manager or a coach sometime. Yep. He's such a fantastic baseball mind, and he knows how to deal with the players really well.
We love Kratz.
Yeah, I'd like to see Kratz come in for Boone.
He did a hell of a job last year.
Actually, I'd take anybody off
his age. Considering his age, he did a terrific job last year. He handled the pitching staff.
I put a poll out, a Twitter poll out on Yankee Chronicles, and about Stanton and playing right field. And a lot of people don't look at him anymore as an outfielder, and we have argued against that point multiple times.
Yeah, no one listens to me. I give up.
He can play right field, but I think the Yankees are really worried about him getting hurt in the outfield. Just look at Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
So they're protecting him. They're wrapping him in cotton wool and making him like a $30 million a year DH. So that's what he is. But he's capable of playing outfield, and limited sample size, he'll be fine.
So the way I phrased the question, I asked if you still believe Stanton can play the outfield. And 38% said no, 38 said yes, 62 said no. And I'm actually, I think he still can be a reasonable outfielder. We've talked about this numerous times, especially now that we don't know the situation with Judge. Why not give him, you still have him as an outfielder. It's almost like the fans refuse to acknowledge the fact that he has he can play.
He's the same player as Judge, guys. I'm not how many times do I got to say it? They're literally the same. The difference between their defense is about this much. You guys, but nope, everyone loves Judge more, so you can't say anything negative about Judge, or you're a dumb piece of shit that doesn't know baseball. It's so frustrating because I'm sorry, I'm right. If we could get Whit Merrifield and Hunter Dozier for Judge, you do that in a fucking heartbeat, and you're an idiot if you think otherwise. And the only reason you don't want to do it is because you love Judge so much. But guess what? You know who we replaced Judge with? Stanton. Go fuck yourself.
But you see, with Voigt's injury, I mean, Stanton's not going to play the outfield anyway. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to have Jay Bruce to outfield? Who's going to play first base? Nobody. So Stanton has to be the DH at the moment. Stanton has to play DH because we've actually got cover with Brett Gardner. He can play left.
I mean, the only way you can move him is if you put Oder as DH and you take fucking Stanton and put him in right. That's literally the only thing. But I'm not sure they would do that.
No, I think what we would see Gardner take over left, get moved into left field. You have Hicks in center, and then Frazier in right.
That works too.
That's most likely. But it's interesting that they're having people try out at first base. You notice Sanchez taking reps.
Sanchez was taking reps there. Yeah.
Yeah.
This all should have been that all should have been done. That's the reason you have a spring training. Not to train in the season. You should have already been taking reps there the whole time.
If I was to critique, there's a lack of first base alternatives in the minors and major league shortstop ready alternatives because we got rid of Estrada.
We have, Donald, we have literally no first basemen in the minors.
No.
All of our first basemen are catchers first.
Yeah.
So it's kind of left us in a. Can I just finish the point?
Sorry, I wasn't meaning to cut you off. I'm just annoyed.
it's kind of left us in a position where if one injury as a scrambling a little bit and putting Jay Bruce in a position where he has not had many reps at first base. He's not played many games in first base at all over his career, and he's having to play there. And it's a tough. He's been kind of learning on the run a little bit at first, and then we don't really have any help behind Torres at short. If you want to give him a spell, we don't have anybody that can do that either. So, if I was to critique the off season, I would say that there hasn't been any in case shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's put us in this position, and now we're scrambling. And
we basically squeezed every dollar we had into what we have on the field, and it's sad because we got players to take less to do this formula, and yet we didn't look into talent to fill those gaps. We got Dietrich, but you're not using him as a first baseman, and he's just going to sit down there. So what was the point, really? We got someone like Wade on this team who doesn't have a position because our shortstop's not getting hurt. It's like, do we want Torres to get hurt so he can move there and then we can use one of the other guys? No, we don't. That would be stupid. So yeah, I agree with Donald. I think we made a mistake in not filling some of those gaps with, better options. I think we're so concerned with getting depth position players that can play multiple positions that we don't really consider how strong that second position is for them. Because Jay Bruce really is not a first baseman. And I think many of us could argue that Nick Swisher, when he came to first, is a much better first baseman than what we've seen out of Bruce. I was more
Bruce is struggling.
Bruce can't scoop. You can't scoop the ball. He can't scoop the ball. He looks a little awkward there. So any kind of bounce, it looks like he's taken by surprise a little bit.
Yeah.
And when Torres short hopped it and it took an awkward bounce, it was kind of going that direction. He just looked stunned. He kind of looked like if we just jumped at first base. You know what I mean? He kind of like, whoa.
Right. You know what? That a throw like that in the dirt that quick to a first baseman is like playing the hot corner and getting a ricochet off the bat really quick. Yeah. It's the same fucking thing. You have to react as quick as it comes to you. And
he never moves his feet either. Like first base, you can move your feet. You can get off the bag and make sure the ball doesn't get behind
because
you.
his reaction time is too slow because he's not used
when
to
I was
that. When you're in the outfield,
you have to move around in case the ball gets behind you. And then you could at least stop the runners advancing, but he's tied to the bag. It's like fuck. It just looks like
he's not mobile enough. And if you look at the greats like Mattingly and Teixeira, they were constantly moving. Their footwork is why they were, Gold Glove winning first baseman.
Yeah, he looks like an outfielder. What he is, he looks like an outfielder playing first base. And that's why I put the blame on Torres, because you should never put him in that position.
Well, that's why I was saying. That's why I was kind of saying it was kind of like a double error. Torres didn't have the right throw on.
I don't think you can really put the blame. I hate putting it on Bruce at all because, like we've explained, a normal first baseman makes that catch, but he's not a normal first baseman. So to have expectations that he can make that easily is unfair.
No, I'm not saying it's unfair, but we also, you have to be able to move. You have to know to move your feet. The first rule is don't let the ball get past you. That's
right. Voit is much better at that than Bruce is, and it's funny because they basically have the same goddamn body type.
Yeah,
they're fucking big.
But Voit is more familiar. He's more skilled as a first baseman.
Of course, because he's a first baseman.
Yeah, exactly.
He's played first base since probably kindergarten, when he was also 6 feet.
I also think that the Yankees made a mistake not getting a veteran shortstop that could at least be there, fairly, I wouldn't say regular, but you can use at times, but he can be there to help teach Torres the position. What a veteran could have done just to help him, give him reps in the mornings, in the afternoons, whatever, just to keep him, because I don't think we don't have anybody behind him. So he's actually learning from DJ LeMahieu. I've read some newspaper articles that say that he's been mimicking DJ LeMahieu. But I mean, maybe he's a second baseman. He's not a shortstop. So
Yeah,
I
wanted Segura really bad. I thought we could have gotten him. Scooter Jeanette's an option. We could have gotten Arcia, who just got traded from the Brewers.
That was a great option. Yeah.
He's a really good option. I was actually hoping he would be the option over Oder. But I get why they went this other route. I would have gone Arcia, then I would have dropped Wade, and then go get fucking Oder if you want, because Arcia and fucking Oder make more sense than Oder and Wade.
Yeah, because Oder's a play shortstop.
No, he doesn't. He can't play shortstop. He plays second base, and you could stretch him to DH and outfield, maybe left field, maybe.
The thing is, we've got a ton of second basemen. Like Tyler Wade's a decent second baseman. You know what I mean? And
no, Cashman loves the power hitting second baseman. It's like his fucking obsession.
I don't understand. Now that I'm looking at it more, I just don't understand it, because the weakness in the infield is Torres, not DJ LeMahieu. You don't need a backdoor. LeMahieu doesn't miss games, so you don't need to get him.
Well, I think they want his bat. They want Oder's bat. So I think that's what they're trying. Who knows? We'll see how they use him. But no one thought this was like a good trade. We were all like, what the fuck?
Well, it's not that, it doesn't. If they were going to make a move to bring in a player, like what Evan was saying, like with like Segura or Arcia, at least it gives you a shortstop option.
Yeah.
Bringing in Odor does not solve the issue of shortstop.
No.
They're still pampering Wade, that he's going to be the defensive, backup.
I think his attitude in the locker room, though, is another key for bringing him in. This is a guy who has the fire and the passion like Noah. He's like a fucking little chihuahua. He just barks all the time at dogs that are bigger than him. Like, dude, you've seen the video over and over again of him punching Bautista, right?
That's one of my favorite videos.
He was so fucking quick with that right hook that there was no time for Bautista to react at all.
Clean hit, too.
Clean hit right fucking here.
He's got a better jab than a lot of boxers, man. That was clean.
Quick. He stepped into it and it boom.
Right. No. Can he play first base?
Yeah, right.
Can Odor play first base? No.
No.
He probably could. They could probably teach him, but he's really short. You don't want, someone that small playing. I need a guy who's left-handed and can stretch.
The more I'm thinking about it, the less I get it now.
It doesn't make sense. He is very limited in what he can do. But I think I don't know. I'm pretty sure they want him because he's a little spark plug, and maybe he can light a fire under these soft pansies of the team we have.
Is that gonna fit though? Because his personality is not gonna fit in the Aaron Boone.
No, it's not.
Everything. Let's all play guitar and sing. I mean, let's all sing Kumbaya.
Well, watch. He's going to make Gary Sanchez cry in the first minutes of being on the team. Older looked at me funny. I'm Gary.
I don't know, man.
Are you expecting to see Judge in the lineup tonight?
No. They already told us no.
Zero chance.
Zero chance.
Let's touch on this, man.
Go ahead.
So, what is going on? Because obviously we've been lied to since spring training. Why has he been playing then if he was hurt? He's obviously been hurt since spring training. He didn't have a cold. That was all a lie. He was hurt in spring training. So why was he playing? Because obviously further exacerbated the injury.
Well, I don't know if the way he played the first series, he looked good. It was
not running the bases. He looked hurt running the bases. He was jogging and he was kind of he was limping a little bit.
Yeah, he needs to be a DH.
He was obviously hurt, though. What I'm saying is Aaron.
Yeah, no, he was.
That's my issue. And where is the disconnect, though? That's what I want to ask. So there's obviously a disconnect between the team, the medical staff, and the front office, and the communication to us as the fans and the media. Where is the disconnect? You know what I mean?
Well, they don't want us to know, so I don't think there's a disconnect with us. They just don't give a shit. As far as the other ones that you're talking about, there's an issue. there's been an issue, and we've talked about this many times on the show because, didn't we got a whole different team 2 years ago and still had these same issues.
Right.
So what do we do now? We don't know what the answer are. We don't even know what the questions are to ask what we need to do.
We've got a whole new medical
Does
stuff.
any of the blame go on the players maybe not being honest because they don't want to?
I don't
want to sit,
so
they undersell what the aches are.
No, because that's the job of the medical staff and the managers and ownership to look into that and make sure that they're getting it right. Whether these, if they're trusting the players too much and that players are getting themselves injured, then they're not managing the team appropriately.
But
because
when we hear that they're running back and forth to the medical,
fucking trying to say something. Joe Torre would look at Jeter in the eye and know when he could play and when he couldn't.
Right.
Boone can't do that.
Plus, we're in New York. If a player went, you know what? I ain't playing today. Do you know what the fucking fans would do? They'd go nuts. Right? They're going to be like, oh, he's soft, whatever. Aaron Judge doesn't want to miss any time. But it's the manager's responsibility to take care of him because Aaron Judge doesn't want to miss any time. He loves playing for the Yankees, loves playing ball. But he's obviously injury prone. He's obviously hurt. So it's actually nothing to do with Judge. It's the manager and the front office and the medical staff's responsibility.
But when we hear that the players are constantly getting tested, then we get on them go, you don't need to sit for every ache and pain. Sometimes it's okay to play through it. So where's that balance? If he was just coming up just with a little cramp that maybe he just can't getting a jump on the ball in the outfield. Not everything deserves to be sat down and looked at. So I think the players need to find that balance of and they need to have that communication with the medical staff. When you have a player like Judge,
you're not going to change the way the players handle it if the culture in the locker room set by the team and everyone else is as mentally weak as it is right now. Look at how much they have to coddle Gary Sanchez. These players are not like you, Tats. They don't have 4 years worth of sick days locked up. Okay, like you go to work. These people, Gary Sanchez. Come on, he's soft. He's soft. Everything needs to be absolutely perfect or he gets in his own head and then starts making dumb, boneheaded mistakes. Jeter didn't do that. Jeter didn't do that at all, and that's why we love him so much, because he was that durable. DJ LeMahieu, that's the type of player you can count on to tell you an honest opinion.
Yeah.
Because 1, he doesn't talk. 2, he's boring. And 3, he just does things the right way. He taught, he's very different than Gary.
On the flip side of the injury issues, some positive news that Justin Wilson was reinstated from the injured list.
Oh, that's nice.
That's even more bullpen depth now.
That is great.
So who do we think? The best part is, I think they're already playing shorthanded, so nobody even has to get sent down.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Yep.
So it's not, you're not gonna, have to force, I would assume it'd be Nick Nelson would be the first to get moved for the IL list, but at least he gets another chance to kind of eat an inning or two.
But can I touch on Judge again and Aaron Boone?
Yeah,
Aaron Boone said about a week ago, he said there is nothing specific wrong with Aaron Judge. And now a week later, he's got a little bit of a pain on the left side. So there is obviously something specific wrong with him.
Yeah.
Right, so he's fucking lying. I mean,
because they don't want us to know, Donald.
That's why we're getting pissed off at Aaron Boone, man.
It's not that they're not answering the questions; it's the way they're answering the questions. Just say, we noticed a little something. We're going to wait until the medical team does their due diligence before we report anything. Just be, like we said yesterday, we're not stupid. Just be honest with us.
Yeah.
That's all. If you're upfront and honest, and when you're saying, it's okay to say we don't know what's going on. You don't have to make stuff up to sugarcoat it. You know,
Aaron Boone sounds like me when
that
I'm calling
escalates the frustration.
Aaron Boone sounds like me when I'm calling in work with a fake illness. Yeah, I'm feeling a little under the weather today. And then a week later, work's going back to you going, well, it says here you're under the weather. Oh no, I got a sore leg today. You know what I mean?
It almost seems with the Yankees sometimes. It's like that old joke. I've run out of sick days, so I'm calling in dead. You know, how many times are they gonna have to take off for,
He said Aaron Judge was under the weather, and then a couple of days later, he's like, "Oh, I need to get him off his feet." And then a couple of days after
I can call work now and say I'm under the weather. It doesn't mean nothing.
Aaron Judge is the type of guy who calls out of work by killing off one of his grandparents. Sorry, Graham died again. Can't come into work today.
This isn't Aaron Judge, man. It's Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone is the one that's fucking everything up with this stupid information.
That's why for somebody that was hired for his communication with us just sucks.
They don't care about us. They do not give a shit whether we know or not, which is sad because we're going to find out anyway. I'm smarter than they think I am, okay? I can go research and figure out what Aaron Boone's really going through. It's not that fucking hard. I said he was going to get injured this year. He's a fucking 6'7" giant. We know these issues are going to happen, so don't fucking lie to us.
That's what the frustration is, man.
Yeah, and then on top of that, with the turf and with the artificial turf with Tampa, maybe it's better off that he's not on the field because he might.
Well, that just confirms it. You're not going to see him at all this series. I'd be shocked if you see him for Sunday. In fact, I'd be surprised if you see him until next Sunday. He'll probably go in the IL, man. The Yankees said they haven't even tested him. So what are they doing? I mean, I understand it's April, so you want to rest your best players and make sure that they're healthy. That's not actually what they're doing. They're having him play through spring training, then have him play the first 5 games. Now he's hurt. And they're not doing any tests. And they're lying to us. And they don't really know what they're doing.
There's a lot of wear and tear after 5 games, though, Donald. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I've got a lot of wear and tear watching them after 5 games. After watching Gleyber Torres play short, I got a lot of wear and tear watching that shit. But
God. Seriously, dude, it's exhausting. It's like we know we're a top 5 contending team, and yet we have all these bottom 5 fucking issues with injuries and all this shit. Like, you can't win if you have 36 injuries in a season. Like, I don't care next man up bullshit. You don't want next man up. I'm glad it worked out for one season, but like shit. It's 3 years later and we're still doing it.
We're a $5.5 billion franchise, and we got these issues with fucking medical staff and wrong prognoses, and then bringing people back too early, and then all this stuff. Like, they can't seem to look after their fucking players. $5 billion. You know what they did? I mean, last year they did a horrible job looking after their players. You know?
Well, they haven't shown that they've corrected any of the issues going into this year.
No.
You know, it's like yesterday, the response. You know, same shit, new year. You know, nothing's changed.
Don't forget, today's game is at 3:10. Yeah. Everyone.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, I'm just letting people know. Some people don't know. Constant have people asking on Twitter, when's the game? Like, you're a Yankees fan, you should know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you just type it in. Google.
Right?
What do you guys? Did you guys watch the crazy shit with the Mets Marlins? What did you guys think of that?
Jesus Christ. I hate the Mets so much. They're so obnoxious.
They're just a bullshit franchise. I don't even care about them. But
it's such a Mets way to win a fucking game, though. We have no talent. We can't score runs. This is how we do it.
And then, Rojas went on the Carton and Roberts show defending Conforto, saying that he's, that there was no way that he leaned into that pit. Look, dude,
get the fuck out. He's so leaned into it, first off, and second,
you know what? Good for Carton and Roberts, because they called him out and they says, well, we do not believe you.
Do you know what? The Mets, for one thing, the Mets announcers actually said that was wrong. They didn't want to
The
win.
umpire even said that he made the mistake. He should have called him out. But if you get hit by a pitch that's a strike, you don't get a base.
Well,
That's
I'm sorry, but that's not good enough.
Right in our rule book.
I'm sorry, that's not good enough because doesn't fix the WAP. Is what you know what I mean? The game's over. They lost the fucking game, and the Mets got a fucking win they didn't deserve to get because Conforto was like, I ain't hitting this guy. Conforto's like, I ain't hitting this guy, so I'm going to lean into the middle of the strike zone and try and get
cheating,
myself
Donald.
hit.
It's cheating. It's literally the same thing as if they hired a midget and said, go up there because you're going to get a walk because they can't have a strike zone on you. It's the same fucking thing.
That would be like if I fucking went and took it at bat for the Mets and I was like, shit, there's no way I'm going to hit this fucking 95 mile an hour fucking fastball. I'm going to lean into that and try and see if I can get myself hit.
Well, you would get killed. There would be no more Donald. Donald's dead. He just took a 90.
Fell with your fucking shoulder, but you know what I mean? It's just bullshit. He knew he wasn't going to get a hit. So he's like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to lean into the middle of the strike zone and cheat. That is just fucking disgraceful.
It's disgraceful, dude. No, they actually had a midget baseball player who had one at bat, walked, and they said, you can't play anymore. This is not fair.
Well, it's not his fault.
Early 1900s.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was the manager's secret weapon. He was going to use it anytime he needed to walk at the end of the game. So you fucking put him on to get walked, so his best player was up next.
That's funny.
And as soon as he got the first, he just took him out, put a pinch runner in. Guy never saw another game again.
Now, guys, with the clear cheating, will there be any ramifications for Conforto? Nothing.
I believe so.
Actually, Manfred's going to give him a medal and say, thanks for ruining baseball just like me.
Well said, bro. Well said. That's the quote of the week. Yeah.
I think that, Conforto's, you better not crowd the plate in his next game. Cause
it's just, guys, it's so painful how gimmicky and shitty baseball has become. It's not, we're not even having fun watching it, and we're the first week of baseball. This used to bring me so much joy, and now I'm just pissed off and grumpy all the time about everything.
Well, it's opening week. We've had how many players go down with injuries, going into the season?
It's not just that, though. I'm talking about all the goddamn rule changes and shit. Yeah. Having to see 7-inning doubleheaders and runner on second extra innings is not fun, and we've already seen 2 games like that in 160 games.
But that's what I was going to say. Between the injuries, the rule changes, the umpires suck. There hasn't been that, that it's got a very different feel this year.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Evan. We've lost 2 games already this year from just pure bullshit. Bullshit fucing extra innings rule.
Did you hear the chants, though, where they were chanting, play real baseball?
Angel Hernandez is awful. He's awful in his job, and he continues to get employed. You got the umpire that blew the game yesterday. The Marlins lost a valuable game there just from fucking cheating. And what is the point in having a replay rule if you're only going to replay the hit by pitch, but you're not going to replay the fact that the guy actually leaned in, which is a violation.
That can't be looked at in the replay. That's so stupid.
That's fucking stupid. Like, a replay should cover everything. So that's just a bullshit rule. And that's what the problem is with baseball now, man. There's so much bullshit going on. And there's nothing you can do about it. And also, nobody plays the fucking fundamentals. That's another thing that really annoys me, man. When I was growing up with baseball, everyone knew how to fucking play the fundamentals. And now there's only very few that does. Like Brett Gardner does. DJ LeMahieu does. The rest of the team don't. The rest of the team just try and fucking hit home runs all the time.
Yeah, they have one strength, and that's what they capitalize on.
That's right. But it is Cashman's responsibility to build a roster that is multifaceted. But he isn't interested in that. He's interested in the analytics, and the analytics only. And the analytics say walk and hit home runs.
No, that makes no sense, because that's why we won in '98, when we had a balanced team full of guys that were, slightly better than the average position.
But Cashman has been wanting this for a long time. This
Yeah.
analytics-based home run OBP thing, but he's not interested in the multifaceted approach, which actually wins in October. That's another thing that annoys me, man.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I really feel that if we had another DJ LeMahieu or Whit Merrifield, it would really change the impact of our team.
Maybe we need to play Brett Gardner as much as possible because at least he
Yeah.
knows what to do in these spots. You know? Like he laid down a bunt there and that
Gardner is so undervalued. Really.
Yeah. He is undervalued when you think about it because he's doing all the little things.
Yep.
But when you're not able to hit home runs, he's able to do the little
No,
things.
and you know what's amazing about that, Donald? That's why he made the team. He was a walk-on in college. Brett Gardner was not a good baseball player, but because he worked his fucking ass off, studied the game, knows positioning, and knows the fundamentals well, he made the team.
Yeah. And it's funny, but you can't have a whole roster of home run hitters as much as we actually have one. You need a couple of guys that actually can do other things. You know what I mean? The little things, like lay down a bunt. Nobody else in the team can lay down a bunt. Brett Gardner can.
I was just saying, whatever you need done, Brett can do it.
Well, the little infield positions didn't used to be power driven, and now for some reason they are. Shortstop and second baseman were heavy defensive guys who had speed and good arms. That was it. They didn't have to hit, even 10 home runs a year. They just need to get on base, get some runs and do everything else really well and make sure that they were stopping the gap at shortstop and second.
You know what's interesting about our infield? My favorite guy in the infield is not the power guy. It's actually Urshela because he has a Gold Glove at third base. You know what I mean? And he can hit line drives occasionally. That's my kind of guy. And obviously DJ LeMahieu as well.
Well, LeMahieu's a given.
Yeah. So I think obviously we've got issues with the fundamentals, man. But the way baseball is now, it's hard. It's fucking different. It's weird. These
Very
fucking
weird.
rules. So,
And
there will be no ramifications for the umpire that blew the game yesterday as well, which is also cool.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting series. 'Cause I don't know where they're gonna keep.
We're going to destroy Tampa Bay, I'm expecting that.
They better, because we need a little joy. I just hope they don't ruin our weekend.
I'm sure they will. I mean, we'll probably destroy Chris Archer, but Rich Hill, he doesn't have the worst stats. And Glasnow
They're not great.
Yeah.
And Glasnow's going to pitch on Sunday, and he's pretty good. Well, he might.
No,
be
we need to
pitching.
take 2 out of 3, or we're fucking dreadful.
Yeah,
As I say-
Tampa Bay always gives us a hard time, though, man. We'll just see. We'll see how today goes. Tampa always gives us a hard time because they've got such a good manager.
Yep.
Their manager is like 10 times the manager that Aaron Boone is, so he can make the
No,
most
we don't
of-
have a manager.
Yeah, he can make the most of a limited roster, and we've got a packed roster, and we can't do the fucking little things. That's what annoys me.
I'm going to go eat my sandwich now.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. On behalf of everybody, YankeeChronicles.com. Want you to check out StatementGames.com. You can find a unique experience to your fantasy sports. Check out DocAdamsBaseball.org. Learn about the founder of baseball. And listen to us Monday through Friday on Radioplaylive.com at 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. Evan, enjoy your sandwich. And Donald, get home safe. All right.
Thank you very much, guys. Take care.
All right, everybody. Be safe. Be smart. Let's go Yankees.
Go Yanks.